What is happening, guys and gals? How are y'all doing this fine Friday the 13th? I couldn't let Friday the 13th go without telling y'all some spooky stories. So let's angle you down. I had some Mexican today. Delicious. You got your DLSR. That's freaking awesome, Sleek. That's super awesome. If I could have y'all post my link in other channels, because I left Dad's cord. I'm not allowed to be me in Dad's cord, so I left. That's it right there. Anyways, let's get some folks in here. I'm gonna go on the twits real quick. The tweets. Tweety. Let's make a tweet. There we go. The Gestapo chased you off too, eh? I was basically told I'm given preferential treatment, and if they see my images, they're just gonna delete them. I'm like, well, what's the point of me being here? Like, well, you would have been banned a long time ago, but I was like, well, whatever. Oh no, you mean you know mean? I don't know what that means, Tinra. But that's all right. So, Karen, that's awesome. You finally got notifications because YouTube doesn't always hate people. We're gonna get right into the creepy stories, guys. Oh, hopefully all of you have been doing well. Nope, did not want that. Your English is so great. That's fine. Watch this one be like forever long. Please don't be forever long. Please don't be. Yep, 25 minutes. You know what that means. 25 minutes, like a 50-minute story. Ain't nobody got no time for that. An amateur. Let's see what this is. An armature. Wait, what? There was a story that I was supposed to read to you a while ago. I forgot about it. I don't know where it's at now. That one's too long. How's everybody been? I haven't streamed in a little while. I apologize. Oop. I finally got word of when I'm starting. It should be the 23rd, as long as I can make it till the 23rd. So 10 more days. That many. Alright, well, I found one. It's called Dead Boats. Hey, Horn Dog, how you doing? Hey, Holly. The author of this story is Jeff Harton. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Kevin. So we're gonna see. We're gonna try this story. Here is the Linky Poo. Beers on me. I wish beers on me. Beers in me. More like it. It's also Friday. I'm trying to see if I can grab some beers tonight. Do some karaoke. Finally. Yeah, not yet, but you know. So this one's called Dead Boats. Let's get started, shall we? I worked a shrimp boat called the Melissa on the Gulf. Hot, sweaty work, but all the shrimp you could eat. So there's that. Captain Mike was my boss, a wizened old salt. Rough around the edges, but a good man and a good boss. I worked with him out in the open waters for years before we split. Here's what happened. So one day we were out early in an attempt to beat the other boats to get a good haul. I started cranking up the nets, positioned them over the collecting bin and let them go. Whole crap ton of shrimp this morning. Today is going to be a good day and profitable trip at this rate. I look up at the nets and I see something caught in it. Probably driftwood, but I got to get it down or it'll rip the nets. I drop them down so I can pull it off. It's definitely not driftwood. I don't know what it is. All right, Bubba Gump. Hey, Dio, how you doing? It looks like a small arm, like a child's arm, but it's not. It's mottled green with brown flecks, but the textures, it almost seems like shark skin. Thin, long fingers, almost 5 inches long. I almost can't call them fingers. They're webbed to one another with a thin layer of skin, almost translucent in the sun. I've never seen anything like it. Short pointed claws where fingernails would have been on the person. I look down to the end of the arm and I see it's been twisted and caught in the nets. At the end, it looks like it was sawed off or gnawed off in a hurry by something dull. Dark red blood drips off of it, pooling on the deck. I must have been in a trance staring at the odd thing, because the next thing I remember is Captain Mike screaming at me, "Get that effing thing off the boat right now!" I snap and quickly work it free, tossing it into the water as fast as I can. Some of the blood stains my hands and my shirt, but I rinse it off. Not the first time something's blood on me out here. As I clean it up, I realize that Mike has turned the boat around. We're heading back to port. It's not even 10 and he's calling it a day. I've got bills to pay. Maybe 100 pounds of shrimp ain't gonna cut it. I'm about to have a few words with the captain, but one look at him and I can see something's clearly off. He keeps glancing off to the sides of the boat as he speeds up. While I'm tidying up, I see if I can pull out an emergency flare gun and check it. Pulling out extra flares too. I guess this isn't the time to bother him. We get back, and as I finish up, Mike comes over to me and palms me $400. Hell of a lot more than I normally make. As I take the money, he grabs mine tightly and pulls me in. Today's a short day. The extra is for you to keep quiet about why we had a short day. All right, see you tomorrow. He lets my hand go and starts looking to the waters. He seems lost and uneasy. This is the man who spent his whole damn life on a boat. I feel uncomfortable just seeing how uncertain he is. Yeah, I guess. Go out and have a few drinks. I know I will. Odd morning. But with pay like this, I hope one of those armed things, I get one every day. That evening, I found myself at a local bar, closest to the waterfront, where all the working stiffs congregate. We've been buying around for a few hours, bullshitting around about work and sex and general nothings. I've got a pretty good load on, and my curiosity gets the better of me. I ask in a low tone, "So what's the strangest thing you've ever caught up in the nets?" And don't say effing tires. I mean, a whole car would be weird, but a tire's like all the time. I get a couple of answers. Will once found one of those inflatable sex dolls. Rick found a whole set of Encyclopedia Britannicas. John found not one individual boot, but a pair. No, that's odd. With what's odd is the way they were the exact size. Hell, he was even wearing the boots. I pushed a little further. Yeah. Did that just happen? Did I just... Tinra, thank you very much. Oh, man, I gotta... Hang on a second. This is killing me. My little brother's texting me. Stay alive, thank you. I'll push a little further. Yeah. Have you ever seen anything like unnatural? Like you couldn't explain it? I get a chorus of nahs, but Kirk suddenly gets real quiet and starts staring intently at sweat beads off his glass. I think I got all I can now, information-wise. Now for a couple more beers, I'm flushed today. My alarm goes off dutifully at 7:30 the next morning, and I dutifully go off at my alarm in a swarm of profanity. My head feels like it's gonna explode. I wish it would. I dutifully crack open a club soda, swallow some ibuprofen, and turn up a hot shower. By 8 a.m., I'm recovered and on my way to the docks. I wander up to the Melissa captain, Mike's boat. He's muttering something under his breath, staring at the deck. The deck's been all scratched to hell. Deep, long rakes intently scratching all over the place. Most of them seeming to congregate where the net releases, where the blood spilled yesterday. I stand behind Mike for a couple of minutes until he acknowledges me. Not going out today. Not like this, sorry. All right, but I gotta work, you know? I'm gonna ask around to see if anyone needs a short deckhand. Do what you gotta do. See you tomorrow? Yeah, sure. I look out and find another boat that's short a man. I like Mike. Worked with him for years. But I work for paper, not a man. If he doesn't get his shit together, I'll have to find another ship. We have an uneventful day out on the other ship. I'm at the docks again, 8 a.m. sharp. Captain's got a whole bunch of bleach and cleaners. I wonder what's up. I'll pay you double if you help me lathe the scrapes off, bleach down the whole thing, and refinish the deck. These scrapes and stains are bad for the boat. Hell, that's a lot of work, but double pay is double pay. Mike might be losing it, but I won't stop him from paying that much. I agree. It's a long day, much harder than our usual trips out, still profitable. Before I leave, Mike asks me to help him pull down the nets. That request stands out to me, as they're a bitch to move, heavy and unwielding. You usually only do it if you gotta rip something, but these are perfectly good. As I leave, I see Mike pile them up on the beach. Pour some diesel on top. No, I'm gonna change that. Pour some gasoline on top and light them up. Doesn't make any sense burning good nets like that. And why burning? Do laundry later. Do it later. After working with my hands and back that hard, I need a beer. I head out to the bar. I spot Kirk at the bar and fall in next to him. We talk a bit, starting with the weather. For other people, that may sound like tepid conversation, but out on the water, it's vital information. Eventually, I get enough in me to start talking about our boat, bitching about the bosses. It starts off as good-natured pressure relief, but then I start bitching about all the extra work I had to do today with the deck and the net. And Kirk cuts me off abruptly. He's not crazy. You need to find another boat, maybe somewhere a little further up the coast. That's all I get out of him. He's like a stone wall after that. I'd assume Mike had spent a few too many years under the sun baking his brains. But Kirk is usually pretty good with advice. Still, the next morning, I head up and talk to Mike. We finish up restoring the decks. Now he's on talking about impossible residue on the sides of the propellers. Says he wants to scrape the rest of the boat next. This is crazy. It's way beyond a two-man job. If you need to dry dock the boat for all he wants, it's the start of the season, and I know he doesn't have enough cash laying around for that. I spend the day trying to pressure wash the sides of the boat as a cheap fix. By the end of the day, Mike slips me a few $100s and looks me right in the eye. I don't want to go out there. Not with a ship like this. It's not ready. All right. But if there's no work for me, I need to look elsewhere. I understand. It's been good. Hey, Cat Eyes. He gives me a firm handshake and looks me right in the eye. Something is welling behind those eyes, but he fights it back. He turns to organize up the ropes, and I notice that he's got a heavy revolver strapped to his side. It's not unusual for a boat to have a gun on board, but a hand cannon on your person? I'm starting to really worry about Mike. This is not normal behavior. I'm not sure if I can talk about this to anyone just yet. I flounder a bit, but find a job a few days later. I see Captain Mike cleaning off the Melissa every day when I go to the docks. He's there scrubbing when I leave, and he's still scrubbing when I get back. There are new scrapes all over the hull, like something was scratching its way climbing up. Mike's become a pariah on the docks. No one talks to him or about it, and when they do, it's in low hushed tones. Eventually, Captain Mike decides that Melissa is finally clean. He can't afford to go on without another day's bounty. He hires Carlos, a new guy on the docks, and they go out. I make a point of breaking the silence and talk to Mike to check the day after the end. No. I make a point of breaking the silence and talk to Mike to check in after they return at the end of the day. They've been catching much less than usual, like half, if not worse. Still, he's getting back out on the water, and that's got to be good for him. Carlos says he's been a little freaked out by the sharks that seem to tail him. I try to put him at rest and tell him sharks aren't a big deal. They're really just opportunistic bastards. I lie and make him feel a little better. Is that really a lie? One day the Melissa doesn't come back. I wait at the dock searching for the horizon. It gets dark. Mike doesn't usually stay out this late. I go to the bar and try to drink my body weight in vodka. Weeks later, another captain finds a Melissa floating a few miles out to sea. I wasn't there, so the rest is hearsay and rumor. The police report is still sealed. Apparently, it was a bloodbath. Blood dried on the decks, most of it right under the nets. Pieces of viscera scattered everywhere. At least the pieces the seagulls hadn't eaten. The pilot's room saw some of the worst of it. Just guts sprayed everywhere, some tufts of hair and skin too. Like someone was flayed by someone who either didn't know what they were doing or was too enthusiastic to do it right. Mike used to sit there when we were out. Mike's revolver was found there too. 4 shots fired. No idea if anyone was hit. Who could even tell whose blood belongs to who? In the deck, they found a long piece of metal embedded deep in the wood. Looked like it was a piece of old boat anchor. It had been crudely sharpened. The investigation wrapped up. Definitely foul play was the conclusion. Maritime law says dead boats found at sea become the property of whoever finds them. Here's the thing. The captain who found it wanted absolutely no part of it. Refused to even step foot in it. He had it sunk over by the reefs. He even took his own ship and put it on the dry docks for the season to scrape off the wood and have it sanitized and refinished. He was talking about selling it and moving up to a different place. He said the waters weren't as hospitable as they used to be. How are y'all doing? Don't blame me for your horniness, horn dog. You do that all on your own, bud. Oh. Are people still here? Everyone stop talking? Oh, there it goes. So that was Dead Boats. Here's the link again if y'all like that story. If y'all want to vote that. You know what? That was a pretty solid story. I'd like to, get into the shark people maybe a little bit more, but, I give it a 9. A little ambiguous at the ending. I like that. Hey, my little brother's here. Hey, B-Rad. What beer we drinking? Probably Miller Lite. Probably. Why does my stream look? Did my bitrate drop or something? New name for your Bumble account? I'm not even going to touch that. That B-Rad is actually my little brother, guys. If y'all didn't know. My flesh and blood little brother. I can show you a picture of him if you want. I don't know if he'd like that. Well, this is In From the Cold. There's a mini Chappie? No. He's a different person than I am. No, he's definitely his own person. So we got In From the Cold. This is a short one, so let's give this a shot. Once again, you can read them if you like. Sometimes words are hard. Be sure to rate the stories if you like them. And, remember that someone actually wrote this. So try not to be too crucial, because sometimes I just misspeak. No, Chappie did not clone himself. Yeah, let me find a picture. You know, I got it on my phone. I can do this. We'll get into the story real quick, real soon. In a minute. Just, I don't know what I'm saying. There's me. There's me. Well, there you go. This is my little brother and my mama and his son, my nephew. If it focuses. It doesn't want to focus. I can make it focus. Let me see. Nope. Let's do this. Configure video. There we go. Here we go. I can do this. Camera control. Focus. There you go. That's my mama that comes in here. And that's my little brother Brad. Oh, he is definitely not a mini me. Oh, fix yourself. I think I have a picture of you, Brad. I outed your name. If they couldn't tell from your screen name. Here's a really old picture of he and I. There you go. Yeah, so that was my mama and my little brother and my nephew. Anyways, now that we got all the introductions out of the way, so yeah, I got a normal family. It is basically what Austin looks like. He's going to be a clone of you. Who would win in a fight? I hate to say it, probably he would. He's like this tall to me, but he's jacked. He's angry. He's angry because he's little. Anyways, the story's called In From the Cold. Alex sat in the cold blue glow of the steel chamber, monitors projecting their indecision between camera views outside and the small compound. Each switch depicted the bright white of lunar sand under floodlight. That's the unrelenting black for the empty space above. Life in the small research station was similarly dark, oppressively quiet, with nothing but the clicks of recording equipment, consistent hums from the computer system, and faint clang. I wish I had a way to make a clang noise. I don't. The sharp noise from down the hall pierced the envelope of sound that had wrapped around Alec in the monitoring room. The startle had his heart thumping up in his throat. Dizzying adrenaline surge started to calm as he figured out one of the backup tapes had probably been vibrated off the shelf by the machinery nearby. Solitary life in a research station has eroded Alec's sense of tidiness, and piles were the easiest sorting method for his work. I resonate with this guy. He turned his attention back to the screens. I'll have to share that in a minute, Brad. He turned his attention back to the screens. The wide screen to the left was depicting a grid of all camera views in small format. Something on feed 42A caught his attention. 42A, a form, was standing below the camera, looking up, motionless. Humanoid by the looks of it. What would be the head seemed slightly tilted. Alec brought it up on the center view to get a better look and felt his stomach twist violently in fear. It was still standing, staring with empty sockets amid the freeze-dried and crackled face of the blue skin. It was morbidly recognizable. Just enough facial features of his late assistant to make him recover or to remember the accident, the airlock seal, and the guilt, the attempt to bury the evidence, and the endless solitude that had resulted. The tilt, obscenely fatal in its arrangement, was due to a neck fracture that had been sustained when the compartment depressurized. The eyes had burst or shriveled with the change. Alec was never sure. He didn't want to think about it. When he had put it up his suit and driven the corpse out into the dunes, the direction faced by camera 42A, he had looked at that fresh, flash-frozen skin and abhorrent shapes from the pressure change as little as possible. But now, he was staring right into the same grotesque. But now he was staring right into the same grotesque death that had decided to come back. Why? Why was the body just standing there, staring, so motionless, so frozen? Frozen. Clang. Frozen. It wasn't standing still. The feed was frozen. The timestamp on the video wasn't moving. It was stuck at 16:25. Alec's fears and mind raced as he looked to the right to check his current clock. 16:40. Clang. The noise, the time, the rest of the feeds, those were live, hadn't shown anything. Alec began to panic. There was an airlock near 42A. One of a pair. The sister airlock had been his assistant's coffin. He brought up the access logs, noting with dread that all the access keypads have been left active as there had never been anything to keep out. No one knew the codes but the two researchers. 16:28. Access granted. Login. S. Richards code. Inside, it had gained entry 12 minutes ago. No, wait. Not inside, Alec breathed with limited relief. There was no subsequent entry for the inner door. It was still in the airlock. The noise must be it beating on the door. He knew he had engaged the manual lock. Keep it out. Maybe it would leave. Summoning up any shred of courage he could manage, Alex stepped out of the monitoring room and returned to face down the sterile metal hallway that ended at the twin airlocks. The black sheen of the thick internal security barrier covered the left entry, while the functional right door sat uncovered. Naked and foreboding, the frosted, thick plexiglass porthole was empty. No hollow eyes, no broken neck or blue skin, flaking, staring back at him with the camera, just silence and solitude. The silence, the staccato death knell had stopped. Unsure of what this meant, Alec walked towards the door. an undecided pace between hurriedly reaching for the lock mechanism and freezing in place with fear. Every step expecting to face that horrid, cold, unliving face, bent at wrong angles, to reappear in the dark, transparent circle of the door. He finally reached the door panel and with unsteady hands engaged the manual lock. He even dared to peek out the porthole to confirm that it had left. Nothing to see. Just the empty airlock and open expanse of sterile-lit moonscape outside the external hatch, which sat halfway ajar. A light breeze crept down the hall and stirred Alec's unkempt hair even so slightly against the back of his neck as he continued to stare out in fear and disbelief. It dawned on him as he heard the approaching shuffle of ragged boots on the metal planking back down the hall. The only breeze in the pressurized facility came from an airlock use, rooted in fear. Catching hints of ragged research uniform and broken skin behind his own reflection in the porthole, he began to reach again for the airlock door panel. Do I believe in aliens or just ghosts and demons? Yeah, I mean, I believe in the Fermi, what's it called? The Fermi paradox. Let's see here. Let me see if I can give you the quote. That was all a story. And zombies. I like zombies. Hey, Mads, what's going on? It's Friday the 13th, I know, and that's why I'm streaming creepy, spooky stories. Yeah. I have seen the devil. It's called My Sister, the spawn of Satan. Is her name Lilith? I think I should start a scotch collection, but I'm too poor. Start with cheap scotch. Just remember that. Start with cheap scotch. Haven't been getting notified till now. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I only streamed. When's my last one? A few days ago now. I don't do it as ferociously as I did before. I need to get on a better schedule. You would think with me not having a job, I would stream more. Doesn't work like that. Yeah, so I streamed 2 days ago. So it be what it be. But you're here now, and that's what I appreciate. Let's do another spoopy story. Let's find a short one. I like short ones. Oh, that felt so good. Chocoholic. Why does that not sound spoopy? It's not got a very good rating. The Never-Ending Road. Here's a real short one. Itty bitty. Teeny weeny. It's a minute long. In Corona, California, there once was a road known by most locals as the Never-Ending Road. Specifically, the road's true name was Lester Road. Now, for over 20 years later, the landscape of Corona has changed, and the Never-Ending Road is no more. However, years ago, Leicester Road was an unlit road that people claimed became a never-ending road when driven at night. The people who made such a drive were never seen from again. The legend became so well known that people refused to even drive Leicester during the day. One night, like many teens my age, I drove up to Leicester, but only a short distance. And my headlights, it didn't look like it went on forever. It did look like it went on forever. Frightened, I quickly turned around because if I continued up the road, I thought I might never return again. Perpetuation of the legend convinced local law enforcement to investigate. Leicester Road took a sharp left turn at its end, and there were no guardrails. Beyond the curve lay a canyon, and on the other side of the canyon was another road that lined up so well with Leicester Road that it vanished from sight when viewed at the right angle. The road seemed to continue on up over the hill on the other side of the canyon. Upon investigation of the canyon, dozens of cars were found, fallen to their dooms, with decomposing bodies of victims still strapped in their seats. That was a real short one. That's some real creepypasta stuff. I mess you up. Congratulations, B-Rad. Nope, it rhymes. Stay away from the rhyming ones. Don't do it. It's like men in shorts. Don't trust men in shorts. How's everybody doing in here? The Forgotten Vending Machine. No, I'm not reading that. We're really digging in the barrel here because I've read a lot of these stories. I mean, seriously, like, what, 200 and, what's my hair doing? 240 something episodes. And I don't always do stories, but I used to do a lot of stories. Do their brains fall out? I don't know what's happening. This story is called Thousands. Yeah. This doesn't really apply to most of you, but we'll give it a shot. You crawl into bed around 9. Funny. It's a little early for you, but you don't seem to care. You toss and turn for a few minutes before you feel it. Someone's watching you. You're sure of it. You scan the room, find nothing, but you still feel uneasy. You lay back down, facing the room. You shut your eyes and try to sleep, but you can't. You still feel the eyes on you, watching you. You pull the covers over your head, and the feeling fades. You relax and close your eyes. But as soon as they shut, the feeling returns. You're scared to move the covers to search for the eyes that you know are watching you. You're terrified. But you yank the covers down, and as you do, your heart skips a beat. You scan the room, seeing absolutely nothing yet again. The feeling disappears, and you scold yourself for acting like such a child. You roll over towards the wall and quickly fall into a peaceful sleep. But let me ask you this. Do you know how many hiding places are in your room? I do. Thousands. I think it's a 10. I like that. I bet you do, Horn Dog, you weirdo. If y'all never been to Taco Casa, you gotta do it. I mean, I don't know if it's a... That was spooky. Yeah, it was a pretty good one. I like that one. You rarely find ones like that anymore. That was written in 2014. Taco Casa. Yeah. I had a taco salad. It was so good. So good. No, it's fast food Mexican, but it's I don't know how to explain it. It's got 4 of 5 stars. To the fill? I don't know what that means. Chick-fil-A, maybe? Oh, maybe father-in-law? Yeah, father-in-law. Good job, Lauren. Yeah, that makes total sense now. Total sense. I had a dream that I'm wrapped up in a burrito with guacamole poured all over me. That sounds disgusting. That's a disgusting burrito. We're gonna... Yeah, we're gonna try one. It's called The Note. White people in your guacamole. I bet you love pumpkin spice lattes and pumpkin spice everything. I don't know. Whatever. Who am I to judge? I feel like my camera's off. It is. Let's do that. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Nah, but you're drinking avocado latte. Yeah, it's pumpkin spice season, Chappie. Don't knock it till you try it. I like pumpkin pie. That's about it. All right, this story, it's called The Note. This is a love story. Please try to remember that as you read this. Love. It's really about Julie. I knew her from the moment I set eyes on her that I'd do anything to have her. Fortunately, though, I didn't have to work very hard. I could see it in her eyes the first time I talked to her and asked her out. She wanted me to, and she said yes before I even finished asking. Her eyes sparkled like diamonds. It's one of my favorite things about her. We were quick to say I love you, only a few dates in, but we were sure. My place is full of my idiot friends. We've started talking about getting a place of our own. My best friend Greg doesn't get along the best of her. Doesn't get along the best with her. And isn't very happy about me moving out. But he understands. We all hang out together sometimes. See movies, bowl, normal stuff like that. Well, I got a call a couple of nights ago from Julie's parents, who live out of state. They said they got a call from the police that Julie had been in a car accident. Drunk driver crossed the center line. What a cliche, right? Anyways. I was so panicked out of my mind, speeding like crazy to the hospital, when Julie called me on my cell. I could hardly believe my eyes when I saw her name on the caller ID. I answered the phone, not quite letting myself get my hopes up just yet. After all, it could have been someone calling me from her phone. Relief washed over me like rain when I heard her voice. Baby, I'm okay. It wasn't that bad, just some bumps and bruises. The airbags and seat did all the work. Are you okay? I don't mind admitting I pulled over and cried for a long time. She said she was checked out of the hospital shortly and I could pick her up there. When I got to the hospital, I had myself pretty well composed. I walked in and just made my way to the help desk when I heard her call my name. I turned around and saw her. The sparkle was out of her eyes, which wasn't surprising, I thought, considering what just happened, but otherwise seemingly none the worse for wear. I completely lost what composure I thought I had. I broke down again and we held each other. She slid her hand in the back of my neck and into my hair like she does when I'm upset. And after a minute or two, we made our way to the car. Julie told me the drunk driver had been killed, and I thought, good, better him than her. And I'm not the least bit ashamed of it. I would have killed him myself if I could have, but she was okay, and that's all I cared about. When we got back to my place, no one was home and the house was dark, which was odd, since there was always someone home, and those idiot roommates of mine always forget to kill the lights when they leave. Julie was feeling a bit chilly, and she looked a little pale, so we cuddled up under some blankets and fell asleep almost immediately. It had been a trying day after all. I remember the last thing she said to me as we were falling asleep. I love you forever, baby. I called in to work the next day to stay home with Julie. She was feeling pretty stiff. Again, not surprising. I had some missed calls from family and friends. No doubt they had heard what happened and were checked in. I'd get back to them later. Maybe it was just the accident, or that I hadn't seen Julie without makeup in forever. But she didn't look very good. I mean, her color was off and her eyes looked slightly hollow, and the sparkle still wasn't there. I suggested taking her back to the hospital, but she insisted she was fine, just tired and sore. Well, a couple of more days went by, and I told work that I was staying home with Julie until she was feeling better. But she wasn't getting better. Her eyes were getting worst of it, more hollow all the time. And her skin was downright cold to the touch. It was getting to the point where I was going to have to bring her back to the hospital, whether she wanted to go or not. And that was when I got the phone call. It was Julie's mom. She had been crying and was clearly making an effort to stay composed. Julie's service was to be held the day after tomorrow, she said. I asked her what she was talking about. Service for what? I was confused. Julie walked up to me as I stood there on the phone. She looked right into my eyes when her mom said, "I know this is hard for you. It's hard for all of us. But Julie's gone, and we can't bring her back. We all loved her, but she's gone." I still didn't understand until I saw the look of horror in Julie's eyes. She knew. This whole time she knew. She didn't survive the accident yet. Somehow, she was still here, and suddenly I understood. Her eyes, hollow and sunk in, the sparkle was gone, her skin cold and discolored. She was dead, and I was watching her slowly decay. My stomach dropped, and I felt myself fall. Julie caught me, and I felt her cold hands and felt her coldness for what it was: death. I heard her mom on the phone, a tiny voice calling my name over and over. I picked up the phone and told her I was listening. Julie silent the whole time. Her mom repeated the name of the service and the day. It was the day after tomorrow, and her body would be cremated at noon the next day. Numbly, I told her okay, thanked her, and told her I'd see her then. I hung up the phone, and Julie and I just sat staring at each other for a long time. There was no doubt now. I was looking at someone who was not alive. Eventually, I said one word. How? She said she didn't know, and she didn't care. And you know what? Neither did I. She came with me to the service, and it wasn't like what happened in the movies, where people walk through her like she's not there or anything like that. They couldn't see her, that much was obvious, but somehow no one bumped into her. And when they made space for me, it seemed they made space for her too, although they didn't seem to know they were doing it. When I talked to her parents, she was with me, silent but strong, for me. When I viewed her body, she was with me, her hand, cold, now so cold, finding that spot in my neck. She looked exactly as she always had, beautiful and healthy. But I knew it was makeup and artificial. Underneath, she would look exactly like Julie that I had, the cold hand on my neck. It was a hard thing looking down at her. She was so supportive, and I knew this is why I loved her and couldn't be without her. We left and went back to my place. My roommates were home, but stayed out of my way as we went to my room. That night we didn't sleep, we just held each other, and I didn't care how cold she was. We cried and talked, laughed at the funny memories, and cried more. We didn't talk about what was happening or what was going to happen. As darkness began to lose the battle and light filled the sky,
A horrifying thought occurred to me, and somehow I knew it would be true. I was seeing Julie as she was. I mean, literally seeing her as her body was. And she was to be set to be cremated at noon. Do you understand? She will be burned until nothing would be left but ash, and I would have to watch it happen. I was on the phone immediately to her parents, to the funeral home, to the church. No one would listen. They all thought it was grief. I felt rage and despair building up inside of me. I was about to completely break down when I felt her hand on my neck in that spot. And she turned my head so that I was looking into her eyes, now very hollow and turning grotesque. She told me it was okay. It was okay. And she would love me forever, and I knew in that moment that what I was going to do. Those last few hours we watched the sun come up with what became a beautiful day. We watched clouds turn into funny shapes. As noon approached, I made an excuse to go to my closet, and when noon hit, we were both crying again. But nothing happened. We were just starting to wonder what that meant when I saw her look in her eyes, just as before. She knew. She felt it before I saw it. She told me it didn't hurt, and it doesn't. She told me it didn't hurt, and she began to smoke, and her hair caught on fire. A cold calm set over me, and I took her tight into my arms. The flames began to burn me too. She tried to push me away, to protect me. She fought my hold, but her strength was fading. I could feel the flames now burning into me, but I didn't care. I wouldn't let her go through this alone, and I didn't need to live on much longer anyways. We didn't scream. We just sat there together and burned. Her hair was gone. Her face and skin turned black, and I held her tight against my chest. I told her that I loved her forever and that I'd see her soon. I held her until she was ash in my arms and she fell through my fingers. I reached for what I had taken out of my closet, and suddenly she was gone. Not a trace of her left. No ash remained anywhere. Nothing was burned. Even my own burns were gone. Was it grief? Did I imagine the whole thing? Was she ever here? I don't know. But I wrote this to my family and friends so they know why I had to do this. I won't stay here without her. I can't. I'll find her somehow, and the spark will be in her eyes again, and everything will be okay like it was. I'm sorry about this, Mom and Dad, but I hope you understand. I'm going now, and I hope I don't get blood on this. It's right in the feels.
Right in the feels. What's going on, guys? Stuff's freaking out on my phone. Beyond Worlds is live too. Of course it is. Because I can't have anything to myself on Friday the 13th. It's fine. If y'all need to go to Beyond Worlds. Hey, Hope. Thank you, Karen. I was first. I was first.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good story. You know? Uh, Not great. Money sucks, but I'm alive. Hopefully in 10 days I start my job. This many. But I'll make it like I always do. Thanks for asking. How are you doing, Hope? How's the job? Thank you. That was a burpy burp. The Devil's Cosmonaut. Not gonna read that. It's 41 minutes. If y'all like creepypastas, I'm getting all these from creepypasta.com. A place to fill all your creepypasta needs. Chappie the 13th. Is there a new iPhone beyond the one I have? I mean, not that I can. Oh, the iPhone 11. Oh man. Oh man, look at that. And it's got 3 cameras. Where this one says 4. I just got 2. But I'm not giving up. Gonna keep looking for the right job so I can save up and move the heck out. You do you, Hope. I hope for the best. There's not a... It's either 4 cameras or 3. It's only $999. You're gonna laugh at me. This one was $1,400. It makes things look bigger, like if you take a picture of the sky. Yeah, it's the X Max. Your phones come from pawn shops? I mean, in hindsight, is today my birthday? I wouldn't say my birthday. But, you know, it's celebrated here. You know, some people have Taco Tuesday. It's Friday the 13th. We don't give any of those. So it's spoopy stories. The Dismal Mall. That one starts off with bad language. Oh, nothing wrong with a little bad language, but when you start a story with it, it sets a tone. I think it can be spoopy without crazy pick my nose. I don't feel like I need to pick my nose. Wait, now I need to... Yeah, there we go. That's good. Well, here we go. I found one. Anything spoopy happened today? Well, I went to bed last night at like 9. Woke up at 4 in the morning. No. 3 in the morning. Stayed up until noonish. And then slept from noon until 4. So, my dreams were pretty crazy. And then when I finally looked at my phone, I was like, oh crap, it's Friday the 13th. I should react to true scary animated videos. No. What's spoopy about that? Nothing. Unless you count what goes on inside of my head every single day. Would you guys hate me if I took a small break? It looks like my eyes do this, like my eyebrows go whoosh, the shadow. It's weird. I wonder if tonight's a full moon for us. Let's see what tonight is for us. It's a waning gibbous. It's not full until tomorrow. So there you go. It's almost full. It's almost. I was putting rubbish out back. When I came back, there was a dark shadow in my kitchen. When I turned on the light, no one was there. Chappie's becoming a werewolf. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? I'd rather be like an incorporeal being. Or a werewolf would be pretty cool. I don't know. If given the choice, I don't know. Vampire, werewolf, incorporeal being. Be a train. I'm going to take a quick break. I look more wolf. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to be on the doobly-doos. And we'll talk there. This should be a short one. We're hearing audio from my Chappie Wolf. Chappie Wolf does all the things Chappie Wolves do. Now, because I'm streaming through my phone, like it's like right there, but did not reach. But it's fine. Did we lose some people? We lost a couple. I think I'll do one more story. And I'll leave you to the rest of your creepy nights. Why does my hair look weird? Whatever. Purple or something. The story is called, Has Anyone Else Seen It? Or Am I the Only One? It's by MDT, Mike Delta Tango. I've done my best to research this phenomenon. If anyone else, or if it even is one. To no avail, there's not a single dream journal in print or the internet grapevine that can ease my unsettled heart. 2 packs of cigarettes and a house to myself are all I have each night, and the light from the screen projecting the deepest and darkest corners of the internet, or as comforting as a polite mugging. I just need to sleep without dreams. A few years ago, my father died. He was a good Nordic man, a sailor, and a veteran with a heart of gold and liver of blackened steel. After my mother stole my siblings and I away from him when we were a child, only to bring us to our jailer of an abusive stepfather, he has been my protector, my drunken, jobless, kind-hearted saint of a father. In the last few years of boozing haze of his life, an entire 24-pack of beer would be drained within 12 hours each day. Each night, he would fall asleep with a burning cigarette in his hand and an aluminum can at his feet. Our ranch-style deer shack of a house never burned to the ground, but that would most likely be an improvement. I'm currently nestled deep in the woods, the developments of concrete jungle miles away from the original homestead. When he died, I was 23 years old. I had no family, no husband, and no morals. On my 24th birthday, on an unseasonably cold day in May, I buried him. The priest and I had the occasion to ourselves. I've been doing drugs most of my life, but the remainder of my money and pathetic inheritance fell into the deep hole that is cocaine addiction. A year ago, I tried to sell my couch in exchange for a couple of measly lines. Even today, I'm not far from that mess. Not much long after that, I tried to kill myself. Earlier in the week, up to the attempt, I had been catching squirrels running loose in the attic. Had no idea how to get rid of them. So one day, drinking a beer on the back porch, I went to the shack and I had them in. I tied it to the end of my black Mustang's exhaust, got in and revved the engine for the entire woods to hear. When I opened the back, the corpses were charred black, slicked with grease and grime. It was then I knew I wanted to die. I jumped in her, my Black Widow, the Mustang, He shut the garage door. The ignition clicked over, engine blaring in the small concrete cube of a room. I laid back with a beer and closed my eyes, not even crying. But fate, or so it seems, wants me to suffer. My father's Navy buddy, Ross, heaved the door open at the last minute, screaming, "Chris! Chrissy!" and dragged me out. Semi-conscious and in the gravel driveway, he saved my life. And after such a kind deed, he died of lung cancer 3 months ago. Fast forward to 2 days ago. I was upstairs sleeping, and suddenly the door slams. "I'm home," my father bellows, clear as day. As certain as the keys I'm using are real, I ran, tripping every step, to the stair overlooking our door to see nothing, just the cold and reassuring loneliness that there isn't even a soul on earth that cares about me. Even my dreams have started to turn. For years, I've read scary stories. They give me a sense of power over life, a feeling of control. The words on a page that sent shivers down my spine, or a thrill difficult to achieve in other places. But there is very little in any story out there. But my dream, the dream is reality. Reality is the dream. Only in the sense that reality is the escape, not the other way around. The night of my father's voice, I slept deeply. The bed in my father's old room sits in front of the closet door. But in my dream, it was blocked by something. At the wooden floorboard of the antiquated frame stood what looked like a man, very tall, well over 6 feet, dressed in dark colors. He wore what looked like a suit, but my memory on the clothes is hard to come by. His face was very long, almost a horse-like quality, and pale. His irises were dark as well, and his expression was both blank and sinister. His mouth was extremely wide, and when he opened to speak, there were so many teeth, I would certainly regret referring to him as a human being. But he never spoke. He acted like he had changed his mind and smiled, an ear to ear, wider than the Grand Canyon smile. With that same grin, he lifted an overly long arm with bony fingers, like that of a massive spider, and reached out for me. With his pointer finger out, he touched my forehead, but never actually made contact with bone. Rather, the finger pushed my brain inside the skull. I felt as if he was informing me, touching me with knowledge. But what? I have no answer to that question. Last night, the dream was similar, but he wasn't at the bed's end. He was standing at its side, like a family member stands beside a hospital gurney. He leaned in close to me, the features of his smooth and pale face nearly translucent and corpse-like. The corpse that's been found floating under 6 inches of bathwater for days. This time he produced 2 fingers, like a peace sign, and with the same terrible smile, he pressed my eyes back. Again, never touching skin. His touch this time was cold, like having an ice cube against bare skin, only worse. On both occasions, I have awoken from the nightmare with the closet door ajar, when it was clearly clicked shut each night, and thus brings me to my current predicament. The closest thing that even reminds me of my experience come out of the works of horror fiction and certainly not the legends or tales from other horrified victims. But the symptoms have been invading me from the dream world more and more. I feel frantic, running up the stairs in the morning, doors slamming, whispering. The closet at the foot of the bed is cold, like a metal locker, and I can't find any family photographs. Worst of all, the sun sets in a matter of hours. The closest hotel is 16 miles from here. Would driving through the woods in the dark actually help my situation, or just be another chapter in a grisly paperback in a $5 bin at a bookstore? I'm preparing tonight, with light and heat, as well as nailing the closet doors shut. If I need to, the car's garage bay is open and the keys are in my pocket. But I haven't been to hell and back to be frightened off by a figment in my own head. This is my only home, and despite the crippling sense of being alone in the dark, I certainly don't need a friend like him. You want another one? Because we're back up to Hotel Oscar Tango. Knock yourself out. It's no longer the 13th there. Ooh, then Pete, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Pete. It's still Friday the 13th right here. Here. Right here. Yeah, right there. I forget which side you humans have your heart on. I mean, us humans. Us humans. Well, it's not a full moon, but it's almost full. It'll be full tomorrow. Tomorrow night it'll be full. Truly full. But it's still close enough. Let me get my charger, because I am streaming this from my phone. Ah, God, kick the steel toe. Oh, I just need the chair. I'm falling apart over here, guys. You know what, Pete? It's full. Pete, you realize it's the same day for us, right? We're on the same planet. There's not two moons. Whatever. This one's called The Wrong Room. You get back to your apartment after a long day's work, and you want to get inside and rest. You are about to pull out your keys and unlock the door, but you notice it's open. Turning the doorknob and stepping inside, you notice something different. You stand in the doorway to try to figure it out when it hits you. This isn't your room. As you turn and leave, something catches your eye. There's a man hunched over a dish of flesh, eating it with his bare hands, tearing into it as a wild animal would his prey. Red dripped down the side of his mouth. The smell that emanated from it was sickening. You were paralyzed by the sight. Unconsciously, You start to cover your nose and mouth. This accidentally bumps the elbow against the doorway and you freeze. He stops eating. There was something wrong. Then he looks up and started searching for the source of the noise. His eyes scan the room until they find you. Your legs start moving on their own and you find yourself running away from that room and the horrors within. The man silently stands up, locks the door and sits back down, grabs another slice of pizza and mutters quietly to himself, "Crazy vegans." I saw that coming because you read ahead a little bit and I was like, oh jeez. Oh, that's funny. Crazy vegans. How are you guys doing? So I think one more. Just one more. It's a short one. And then we'll end it. Here it is. It's called The Void. Rumor has it that every Halloween, during the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., there exists a void. You must stand in front of a mirror in a pitch-black room with your gaze fixated on the mirror. If you remain in the room, when the moment arrives, you will feel a chill seize your body. Place your right hand on the mirror and whisper, "I accept." If done correctly in the mirror, there will be a faint image of an infant with no flesh and pitch-black eyes. He will stare directly into your soul, and you will hear the buzzing of flies and nervous whispering. You will not be able to make out the image in the mirror. You will be filled with unspeakable terror. The infant will ask you 5 questions about the events that have occurred within your life. His voice will sound like the rubbing of sandpaper and will be devoid of all human emotion. For each question that you answer incorrectly, one of your 5 senses will be consumed and lost forever. For each question that is answered correctly, you will be able to recite the names of someone you know. That person will be found dead the next morning, with their flesh removed and their eyes missing. So, I mean, if you're sure of yourself, I accept. Go for it. Good luck. Anyways, folks, we're going to call it quits here. I've got to take a shower. And you folks, you should probably take showers too. I smell it. I'm just kidding. Do me. Oh, the say your name and then have your skin removed. Smell you later. Well, all right, folks. You know I love you. You're all awesome people. But this chappie has got to see if he's gonna do some karaoke. Here we go. There's backwards hat. Chappie. But here's forward hat Chappie. Oh, now my hair's doing what I want it to. It's being good now. It heard shower and it's like, oh no, I don't want to shower. Maybe I won't wash my hair. Forward. Let's see if I can do this right. There you go. get. Honk honk. There you go. Just like that. Just barely resting. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's mescaline. No, just kidding. Wait. This one. This is. Let me give it to me. Hang on a second. Downloads. Let's make this big for you, folk. I just. I just love it so much. Did my stream go away? No, it's still there. So there you go. I think it's funny as hell. Wait. Well, let me do this. There you go. How about that one? That's a cart transformer. Yeah. It's that hair. It's just. That's I want a party hair. Oh man. Oh. Well, anywho, you folks are awesome people, and I love you very much. I feel like that would be centered. That doesn't. This feels centered. My camera's being weird. Yeah, I will. But alright, folks. You all be good. I love you much. Catch you on the next stream. I think we'll be finishing up Alien Isolation. Maybe tomorrow. Ooh, maybe not. That might be hell on my phone. We'll see. Play it by ear. But alright, folks. Be good. Stay creepy. And get all your friends to sub to me. Alright. Bye.